A while back, I made a video that I think it was called My Buddhist Faith, and I had indicated that it was created as an op-ed for a local newspaper, a 500-word description of my faith. I've been asked to do another one, and this one is a little more generic rather than personal, and it basically is called Buddhism. And in this particular op-ed, I was given the opportunity to write 750 words, which is still not a whole lot, but I thought I would go ahead and share it. And concomitantly, I thought I would try this new mic setup here and see whether or not it creates better audio than the Rode mic I've been using on top of my Canon EOS T5i camera. Anyhow, here goes. Buddhism. Sakyamuni Buddha lived in India some 2,500 years ago. Born as a prince and raised to become a king, he nonetheless reflected deeply on life and sought occasions to expose himself to the realities of disease, old age, and death. He thus came to recognize and to be concerned with the truth that life inevitably involves suffering. At age 29, Sakyamuni left his home and family to search for a solution to the problem of suffering. None of the teachers he went to could give him a satisfactory answer. He even denied himself the basic necessities of life, but this brought him no closer to his goal. At the point when he was about to die from deliberately not eating, he accepted an offer of nourishment. Shortly thereafter, at age 35, he became awakened to the right way of living. Rather than withdrawing from others to enjoy enlightenment, Sakyamuni spent the last 45 years of his life exerting himself to share with others the truths which he had discovered. He did so out of great compassion for humankind. After his death, Sakyamuni's various teachings were recorded to form the school generally known as Theravada Buddhism, or School of the Elders. This branch of Buddhism incorporates the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. These were described as follows by Reverend Kenryo Tsuji, who served as Bishop of the Buddhist Churches of America and was my religious mentor when he was minister at Ikoji Temple in Virginia. Truth of suffering. Because life is impermanent, suffering, friction, and disharmony are inevitable. Truth of the cause of suffering. We suffer because we do not see things in their true light. For example, we consider impermanent things as permanent and become attached. Truth of the cessation of suffering. The causes of suffering can be extinguished, resulting in freedom from greed, aversion, and ignorance. Truth of the path to the cessation of suffering. The spiritual goal is accomplished by following the Noble Eightfold Path. 1. Right views. To keep ourselves free from prejudice, superstition, and delusion, and to see the true nature of life. 2. Right thoughts. To turn away from the evils of this world and to direct our minds toward righteousness. 3. Right speech. To refrain from pointless and harmful talk and to speak kindly and courteously to all. 4. Right conduct. To see that our deeds are peaceful, benevolent, compassionate, and pure. 5. Right livelihood. To earn our living in such a way as to entail no harmful effects. 6. Right effort. To direct our efforts toward overcoming ignorance and selfish desires. 7. Right mindfulness. To cherish good and pure thoughts, for all that we say and do arises from our thoughts. And 8. Right meditation. To concentrate our will on the Buddha, his life, and his teaching. Around 100 to 400 AD, a new major branch of Buddhism evolved called the Mahayana, or Great Vehicle School. The essence of the doctrine of the Great Vehicle is a belief that every human being has the capacity for awakening. Central in the teaching is a description of the Bodhisattva path. A bodhisattva is dedicated to relieving the suffering of others, foregoing his or her own enlightenment until all other beings can attain peace and happiness. Required practices are charity, observation of precepts, patience, zeal, meditation, and wisdom. Wisdom, or prajna, means realizing experientially that we are all interconnected. Such an experience of non-duality leads logically to compassion toward others, since it makes no sense to seek benefit only for oneself. From this perspective, commitment to peace and justice for people of all backgrounds and traditions emerges in full flower. With the compassionate motivation of wanting liberation for all, and given the burdens associated with this body and life, the quasi-mythical beliefs of Mahayana Pure Land Buddhism were promulgated. Namely that many eons ago, a Buddha named Amida was treading the Bodhisattva path, and vowed not to become a Buddha until he was capable of creating a pure land of bliss, where people could be born when they die simply by entrusting themselves to his saving power. This easy path was established in contrast to the path of sages, requiring rigorous ethical behavior, good works, esoteric knowledge, and meditative practices. Our Pure Land Buddhist practice, which is really a non-practice, is simply to express gratitude for the grace that has been bestowed upon us by saying Namo Amida Butsu, or I take refuge in Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.